And it's also going to make it much more convenient considering your new place of moderate employment.
We'll say employment.
It's employment.
I don't consider it employment because it's something that I really enjoy doing.
Mm-hmm.
And if you really enjoy doing something, it's not really considered employment or work.
Right, exactly. Like, I mean, shit, I put more work into my average YouTube video than I do down at a shift at work, but it doesn't feel like work.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's hours of research and then, like, usually an hour editing or whatever, but it never feels like work because it's fun to me. And even though it does draw money, in a manner of speaking, it's not something that I'm like, yeah, and I never feel like it's work. But divulge, let us know, what is your new place of employment?
Okay, I'm breaking into another story here.
Because fucking Nick story time.
But
away,
this won't have my mind narrating it.
Right, exactly. This is going to be all Nick just narrating that shit.
So we told the story before that when we went to the debut TCW show,
right in Blockhouse,
you got drafted as doing ring announcer, and
yes.
I was outside doing sound plus bell.
Right, exactly, and that's a story that again we'll elaborate on a little bit more if and when Doug and JP show up.
Yeah. So this was about last week. I was sitting down in the basement watching TV, and of course, both you and me have Cyril. Who is I guess we'd have to call him CEO. Yeah.
CEO of Twin City.
Of Twin City on Facebook. So I was thinking about it and I was like, I'm going to be getting my car back on the road. Why not do something with these guys full time? Because I mean, I fucking love doing sound and shit like that. So I send him a Facebook message. I'm like, hey man, any chance you want me to rock sound and bell full time with TCW? I mean, I don't care, I'll do it for free. He's like, sure man, it'll help out loads if you want to. Not really fond of the Reaper, so maybe we can shoot you like 10-15 a show.
And I only want to interrupt the story just for 2 seconds to be like, when is the last time a CEO of an actual company, because Twin City Wrestling, it's a wrestling company. When's the last time a CEO of a company was like, well, I'm not really a fan of you doing something for free, so I'll give you some money for it.
Yeah.
That's just that's cool. You know what I mean? Like it's he had the opportunity to be like, hey, yeah, I want you to do this and I want to get free labor out of you. and he didn't do it. So I thought that was very cool of him. Anyways, that's just me interrupting Nick's story because I like to hear myself talk. So you continue.
So, God, I don't think there's much more of that. I mean, we chatted for a little bit. I basically knew about the Bridgewater show. Right. But at that time, I didn't know about the Dartmouth show. So, he informed me about the Dartmouth show. I wanted to get together to at least get all the music and shit. Right. But it's on a flash drive that I can just pick up when I go in.
Oh, okay. Good.
Yeah, and yeah, that's how it came to be.
Well, that's good. That's in case you're just joining us at this point, our own resident techie and co-star and 50% owner of No Holds Barred Productions is now the full-time, or it appears anyways, the full-time sound and bell ringer / timekeeper / whatever title they want to call it for Twin City Wrestling, which is very, very cool. Doug messaged me too, wondering if Cyril had talked to me about doing ring announcing again, and I was like, he hadn't talked to me about it. I'm assuming he meant for the Bridgewater show that's coming up on the 16th.
Possibly.
That again, Doug and JP will talk about a little bit more if they happen to show up. And I was like, well, he hadn't mentioned anything to me, and I was kind of just thinking about sort of approaching this show just sort of as a fan. But so who knows? Maybe we'll both end up being drafted back into duty Duty.
Well, you'd
for
be
the next
drafted.
time. Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean-
that's true. You work for them now. It's no longer drafted. I would be the one being drafted into duty. That's true.
I'll just find you and stick a microphone in front of your face.
I'll just be there watching the show and just,
Dang it.
Welcome to the No Holds Barred podcast. Just assume that we're cutting a podcast right there at the show. But yeah, so that's honestly, that's very cool. And it's also very cool that you'll actually be getting paid for it, it seems. So, I mean, and as you said, to get paid for something that you would, in all likelihood, do anyway for free.
Right.
So it's certainly a very cool thing to have happen. And you're going to be traveling to the shows with them. And, that could, probably end up taking you all over the Maritimes as Twin City Wrestling grows. For now, it'll probably just sort of be between the
Halifax
HRM and here. But you know what? I tell you, and we've both gushed about them, but the amount that we were impressed by the first Twin City show, I don't think it's going to take them too long to grow and want to expand.
Okay.
It was definitely a good show. You want to talk about some work bullshit?
Work bullshit.
All right.
God damn.
Do you want to start? Do you want me to start?
I'll start.
Okay, fire away. Nick's work bullshit.
I don't know.
Go.
I don't know if I've broken into this before, but I've
some
had
new
enough.
material.
I
High five for some
Probably.
new material. Champ.
Whoa.
Right on.
Okay. So
Hang on. Uno momento.
Ooh.
Some of that sprayed in my face, and I liked it a little.
Ooh, splashback.
Ooh. I just wiped it off my face and into my mouth. Anyways, go ahead. If you can get that image out of your head.
I'm trying. I'm trying.
It's going to be tough.
Calm blue ocean.
Calm blue ocean. Calm blue ocean. Where were we?
I don't know.
Work bullshit. New work bullshit. New material.
Okay. What? Shit, where was I? Where am I?
You're in the dungeon, sir.
I am.
You gonna die.
God, no! Okay, so apparently I can't, I'm not a friendly guy at work.
Now, how can that possibly be?
Which, I don't know if it's not, not a friendly guy. I speak my mind at work a lot, and I joke around a lot.
Right.
And some people can't take my level of joking around.
I've had that happen.
Because it's kind of odd at work. I mean, people swear at work. I mean, you can basically tell a manager to go fuck themselves.
Right.
And it's kind of like a close-knit community there.
Okay.
And
then there's you.
Then there's me. Yeah, definitely. Then there's me.
Is that how you feel?
Kind of.
Kind of. Okay.
Yeah.
Can you give us an example? You really open up a can of worms?
Probably.
Hit us up. I'm on a quest here to get us both fired.
Well, Jesus, fucking. Oh God. No, I'm not going to go into that.
No,
because it just get me raving again.
Oh, but that's exactly what this is for, sir. We got 3 hours to fill. You got to rave like a motherfucker.
Okay, let me tell you this, motherfucker.
Oh, here we go.
If you come through the drive-thru and order a Big Mac with no fucking onions in it, there's the exact same kind of onions in the sauce that goes on your Mac.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. Well, I guess I didn't know there was onions in the Big Mac sauce. Although it makes sense because it kind of has a little taste of it.
Yeah.
So somebody comes through, they order a Big Mac with no onions on it. Did they come back?
No.
And okay, I understand. Okay, so you're just like,
Every time somebody comes through and orders a Big Mac with no onions, I yell.
Old man Stevenson.
But mind you, it's at night and they're coming through the drive-thru.
Right.
And they possibly can't hear me. But I kind of yell, "There's onions in the sauce, jackass."
Oh, that's great. I just hit my microphone with my teeth. That's great. There's onions in the sauce, you jackass.
Did you get like a lot of the Facebook messages that I sent you?
Yes,
Friday night.
I did end up getting them. I didn't get them until Saturday morning, but I did get them.
Okay.
I'm sure they went through at the same time. I wasn't. I think my phone was on and it was showing that I was on Facebook, but I wasn't.
Okay.
So okay, but that was one of those nights, was it?
Friday and Saturday were both horrible nights, and let me tell you why. The owner of McDonald's,
Ronald McDonald.
Ronald, yes. Let's call him Ronald McDonald. People like to save money.
Okay.
The summer is coming. It's warm out.
Summer's coming.
People like to party. People like to eat when they party. What's open at 2:00 at night?
My barbecue. And McDonald's.
Correct. Where do people come at 2:00 at night? 3:00 at night. Possibly 4:00 at night to eat.
My barbecue? No, they don't.
McDonald's.
McDonald's. Okay.
Granted, come exhibition time, there's 2 people in the back. A 3:00 person.
Mm-hmm.
Summertime, there's a 3:00 person. No 3:00 person.
When does the 3:00 person start?
I don't know.
God damn it.
But hopefully there's one there next week. Because
you're going to need it.
Oh, man. Pending orders.
Yeah.
Pending.
Yeah, you mentioned this to me too, fucking pending orders.
Friggin' until like 3:20. And I'm used to having shit clean.
Right.
And having like the grill clean by 3:00 and having my breakfast shit in. And
you're used to have already fucking jerked off in the special sauce by 3:20.
Oh, man.
But you were just way too busy.
Dropping a log in the women's bathroom and everything.
Best idea ever.
Hey, man, it's the cleanest.
It's true. Until you get done with it.
But, nope. The past 2 days, got off at 7. Well, supposed to get off at 7.
Right.
Haven't left there until at least 8:30.
Jesus. It's just like you need that second person.
Need the second
You need
person.
that second. Now that, yeah, like you say, now that it's not fucking winter anymore, and people are actually a lot more willing to leave their house to go to McDonald's at 2:30 in the morning to get drunk food. It's not junk food; it's drunk food.
It's drunk food.
And yeah, so absolute. So
13
owner
McDoubles is drunk food.
unless it's us in high school, then it's just us trying to prove that we can eat them.
1 bite burger.
A McDouble is not a fucking 1 bite burger.
No, a regular hamburger is one
regular
bite
hamburger
burger.
is for sure. There's got to be people listening to this podcast being like, "Oh my god, you guys are sick! A single hamburger in 1 bite? Oh, you better believe it."
It happened.
Just if you, to those podcast listeners with a keen ear, they heard earlier when Nick was like, "Did you get all those messages I sent you on Friday?" And I actually have the messages up here that Nick sent me on Friday.
Oh, do you?
And I just want to read them off just so everybody can get a sense of Nick's frame of mind. First message. These messages started at 12:59 p.m. I am Iron Man. Even though I don't own an iron. I rock at it. Rock like a rock lobster, that is. Which is awesome and fun at the same time. LOL, you're going to have so many messages before the end of the night. I'm at work, bored out of my McChicken tree, and slightly overtired. I wonder if I'll get in trouble if I include a free punch to the face to everybody who comes through tonight. Had to stop and make an order, as you can tell by the rushed last messages. Fuck, to make this night worse, I'm working with the only asshat that I hate working with.
That's where it stops.
That's where it stops.
I had to make orders. Countless and countless, endless supply of orders.
Exactly. So that's just the frame of mind that our friend Nicholas was in fucking Friday evening. He thought he was Iron Man, but he doesn't have an iron. But he rocks at it anyway, like a rock lobster. And he worked with an asshat that night.
I was out my McChicken tree.
He was out of his McChicken tree. That McChicken tree must be delicious.
Tell ya.
Oh, it's going to be delicious.
Except when people keep it in the deep fat fryer for too long.
That's true.
Then it comes out burnt.
Then it comes out burnt and all heart attacky.
Ooh, heart attacky.
Ooh, heart attacky. That's the new flavor of hot sauce. It's called heart attacky. Heart attacky. So you ready for my workplace bullshit?
Yes.
The people that I work with are children.
Are they?
Especially the people at the top.
Well, that's not right.
I'm not. I know.
Should be the other way around. You're the youngest one.
It's true.
You should be the child.
I should be the child. I'm going to go in there next time and throw a hissy fit. No. And like, I'm not as upset about this as I was earlier, but I still maintain that it was a childish thing to do. Okay, so for those of you that don't know, I work in a bookstore. As with those that don't know, Nick works at McDonald's, but I work in a bookstore, and the way that our store is set up, we have our 2 cash stations. That's there, right there, as everyone can see because it's a podcast.
Yeah.
And then beside the cash stations to the right of it, or the left, depending on which way you're looking, is like the manager's office, where they have a bunch of, like all the books, our printer is up there, the manager's computer, everything like that. I talk with my hands terribly, which I know is bad because it's a podcast, but for the people that are watching on Ustream,
So,
you at least get to see kind of what I'm doing.
If you're imagining this, the way that his hands were going, his nipples were the cash registers.
My nipples are the cash registers. My side fat is the manager's office.
Yes.
All right? There we go.
So we're visualizing.
Visualizing my naked body. Ooh. Exactly. So yeah. So, you know, and like I say, up in the manager's office, they have like the manager's computer and the printer and everything like that. There's also a chair that is up in the manager's office by the manager's computer. Obviously, because there's a computer, you want to have a chair.
Right.
So this was on, I believe it was on Saturday of last week. So we're talking about this, you know, this is week-old news now, but still. So it was Saturday of last week. We're doing home office returns, which is basically like home office tells us, okay, you guys have these books that aren't going to be selling or whatever, so we want you to send them back to the distributor so we can send them to another store where they might sell.
Yeah.
Which makes sense. Part of these home office returns are called strip covers. Ooh. Strip. And anybody that works in a bookstore knows what the concept of strip covers is. You have these, not going to lie, mostly Harlequin, these crummy little cookie cutter romance novels that nobody's going to buy, but we keep getting them every month anyway.
Like pictures of Justin Robar?
Exactly.
Bathroom window?
Yeah, but that's a New York Times bestseller. I was just rubbing my nipple. So you have these books that aren't going to sell, so you strip the cover off of them and send the covers back so that head office knows that they've been destroyed.
Right.
Because they're not going to sell no matter where you send them. So we do this, and we have a stack up in the office of just a huge stack of strip covers. So when we do returns, we have to go through this stack to find ones that might be in there.
Oh, lovely.
Exactly. So I had this huge strip cover order, which was like, I think it was over 100 pieces that I was looking for. So I had these things. I had like 2 or 3 stacks of these things on the go, trying to find the ones that I'm looking for. This is towards the end of, I think, a 6-hour shift or whatever, and I'd been on my feet, and I carry around almost 300 pounds, so my feet get kind of little fucking sore. So, and my shoes aren't the greatest. So I sat in the chair in the manager's office with one of my coworkers on the floor so they could see customers and whatever.
Right.
So I sat in the chair, and I was going through these strip covers. And every so often, I'd look up, and I'd make sure nobody was waiting at cash to be served or anything like that. My manager, who was leaving for the day, comes around the corner and sees that I'm sitting there, and she goes, you really need to be watching. And I just looked at her, and I was like, I am. I'm making sure nobody's coming up to cash. If somebody comes up to cash, I'm there before they are, so they're not waiting.
Yeah.
And I am. I'm looking up, and I'm out over the floor. Because apparently my coworker who was on the floor had gone to the back, but hadn't told me they'd gone to the back. So I'm like tunnel vision. I'm focusing on what I'm doing.
Right.
I didn't hear them go to the back. And she was like, well, there's nobody on the floor. So I look up and I couldn't see my coworker. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know they went to the back. But okay, no problem. She didn't tell me to get out of the chair. So I stayed in the chair. I was still doing my task, but I was looking up. Not trying to be a jerk. But she didn't tell me to get out of the chair, so I didn't.
Right.
So I was still doing this task. Anyway, she leaves. Not another word about it. So I was in again the next day.
Yeah.
My manager calls the woman who was opening. Because I didn't get in until 1:15. But the store opens at 12. So somebody was in, opened the store. I didn't get in until 1:15. So she calls the woman that was opening and was like, can you do me a favor? Can you take the chair and put it in the back room?
Really?
And she was like, okay. So she went and she did it. So, obviously I noticed it because I'm at cash, which is right beside the manager's office. You notice if a big fucking brown chair isn't there anymore.
Well, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, what happened? What happened to the chair? And she was like, well, the manager called this morning and asked me if I would take it out back.
It's just like you'll notice if the goddamn smiley face tiger is gone.
Exactly. There's a little, just as an aside, there's a little stuffed smiley face tiger that Nick has become totally obsessed with. And it's a thing that we use to like dust small spaces like around the manager's office and everything like that. Because like his tum-tum, which used to be white, is now almost like jet black with like dust and everything.
It's more like a brownish.
Yeah, I guess it's more like, yeah, it's not jet black. That's true. Not jet black like your soul.
Oh.
Anyways,
was dark.
I know, that was dark, man. That was dark. Why you got to play a brother like that? Anyways, so Nick is obsessed with this little tiger. And you know what? The tiger is super cute.
Yeah.
Like, if you look at it and he's looking at you, you're just like, oh. Like, you're so cute. But Nick, like, picks him up and fucking makes him dance, and he gives him a voice. I think you've given him a whole backstory by this point.
Probably.
But, like, we could make a short film about that little fucking tiger. Sundance, here we come.
It's hilarious.
It is, and you know what? It is pretty fucking cute. Next time I'm down to work, I'm gonna have to get a picture. I'll post the picture on the Facebook page of the little tiger.
Nice.
But yeah, so back to the story. So my manager calls the woman that was opening and was like, can you take the chair out back? And she told me this. I was fuming. I was so mad. Because it's just like, that to me comes off as so childish. And so just and like that's really the best way that I can describe it. Just so fucking childish. Like, okay, I know I wasn't supposed to be sitting in the chair not looking while there was nobody else on the floor. But I didn't know there was nobody else on the floor because the person that was on the floor didn't tell me they were going out back. We kind of have this unwritten thing where if we're going out back, we tell the other person.
It makes sense.
It's not something you have to do, but it's just something that it makes sense.
That totally makes sense.
Like, just, hey, I'm popping out back for a few minutes. Like, okay, sure. So like it's just kind of one of these things that you just do. So I didn't know the person was out back. I wasn't not looking, but she thought I was not looking. She thought I was just tunnel vision doing whatever. and there's no rule at any point that says don't sit in the chair.
Right.
Because whenever I update the store's, I administer the store's Facebook page.
Right.
Whenever I change the store's Facebook page, I sit in the fucking chair because the computer's there. It only makes sense. But in any case, so the chair gets taken out back, and basically, what she's like or what she was like in the conversation with the woman that was closing or was opening was like, I think I'm going to start doing most of my work out back now, just so people aren't tempted to sit. I'm just like, Jesus fucking Christ, can you please like talk to me as an adult? If you don't want me to do that anymore, tell me you don't want me to do that anymore.
Right.
Don't play it off like I'm your fucking grandchild, right? Like, just like treat me as an adult, treat me as someone who works for you. If I'm doing something wrong, mention it.
Right.
Right? Like, treat me like a fucking adult. But at no point has that occurred during this whole thing. So, like, at the time, I was really fucking livid about it. And I'm just like, next time I work with her, we're going to have a conversation about it. And I'm not going to be a jerk about it, but I am going to speak to her like an adult.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, it's not good to dick around things, you know?
Yeah.
It's good to speak your mind, because if you dick around things, there are tensions.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's the thing, is that the whole thing was so it was so tense afterwards for the next like couple of days. But the next time I went in, the chair was back out there. So I'm like, somebody got sick of not being able to sit at her manager's computer and send her emails. So the chair was back out the next time I went in. So I was like, okay, cool. You had a little hissy. That's okay. Whatevs. But in the future, please just address me as a fucking adult. So that's my work bullshit. That's the end of the work bullshit section. Yay!
Work bullshit.
Maybe that'll just be a new permanent segment. Work bullshit. Ta-da! Because usually every couple of weeks something's going to happen.
Yeah.
You know, every few weeks, you work in fucking retail or whatever you work in, something's going to fucking happen.
Something always happens.
So we're almost an hour into this podcast already.
It doesn't feel like an hour.
It doesn't feel like an hour, but we still got a lot more that we're going to talk about, which is nice. I suppose we really don't have to talk about you possibly cheating the insurance system anymore, because your car's back on the road and you got a good deal.
Yeah.
But for the viewers who may still have been interested in this, did you actually have a plan for cheating the insurance system, or was there some like loophole that you were going to get through, or something like that? What was that all about? Because you never even actually explained it to me.
What it was when I went down to Bridgewater Insurance, and the guy printed off my driver's extract.
Right.
Now, there's two...
Show us the Carfax.
So
this one's like a driver fax.
Yeah. Well, there's two versions of a driver fax that he could...
Don't make fun of my terms, sir. Fuck you.
And one of them is the basic version, and the other is like the basic version.
Okay, then. Nick just did a little limp wrist gay thingy.
So one of them shows everything, and the other just shows basic.
Okay, fair enough. So one of them's got like the full hard on, and one's just like a little chubby.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
The basic
You got to
one...
put it in terms that I'll understand.
Okay.
I understand penises. All right. Go ahead.
The basic one only showed one accident.
I see.
And he didn't print off the other one.
Ooh.
So when he was punching everything in to get the quote, he was only under the assumption that I had one accident.
Ah, very nice.
And that was showing up with the one that I had in Halifax, where I got T-boned.
Right.
And the vehicle was written off. They didn't have anything about when I spun it and put it in a deep ditch.
That's happened multiple times. Only one on record.
We never put it in a deep ditch.
No, that's true.
We've only put it in a snowbank and
Woods.
That was half woods.
That was like the fringe of the woods. It was barely even off the road, really. But at the time, we were like, "Oh my god!"
At the time, I don't know how we fit between those two trees perfectly.
I think
it was just a Tercel size hole.
It really was. I don't know if we've actually told this story on the podcast before, have we? It feels like we have. Maybe on the very first episode?
I believe on the very first episode, because we broke into a lot of the car stories.
That's true. Go back and listen to the very first ever No Holds Barred podcast, which at the time I believe we called Live Time. But we have it on our YouTube channel. The very first No Holds Barred podcast is probably the very first video we ever put up. Go back and listen to that shit. We regale you with the story of how we put Nick's 1991 gray Toyota Tercel into like a 1991 gray Toyota Tercel sized hole between like three trees off road as we were taking our friend Richard out to get some tail. That was basically the long and short of it.
That was basically what it was.
It was pretty much what it was. Anyways, yeah, go back to the first episode of the podcast and listen to that. So when you were getting your insurance quote, anyways, they were only registering with one accident.
Yeah.